gonna grab the live link too.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Man Big Heart. This is the live taping. We're gonna let the intro build and let some people get in here before we actually get started. And then, of course, this streams on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys get your podcasts. And this intro will be edited out, so you'll just get the meat and potatoes of the actual show. But thank you for joining us. And Dylan, how you doing, man? You hanging in there? You made it back to St. Pete?
Made it back here. And again, I'm just excited to be home. I've been home for Christmas and give or take 4 years. So it's been a little bit different of an experience, but at the same time, excited to be home.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send out this link you just sent me?
Yeah. No, send out this link. Hold on. I'm going to send it to you again. I think this is the actual stream. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to tweet this out too. We are live. All right. Done and done. So, did you see so you saw those spaces that I do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was randomly just on my phone in between studying and saw your name pop up on my Twitter feed. So I decided I would join and say hi to everybody.
Dude, I've been doing these. TJ, the guy that I do it with, he's my producer, my old producer from the Big Three Roll Up. And TJ was like, Josh, you need to get on. You gotta, have you seen these spaces? And I kind of knew what the process was. It was like Clubhouse. Do you remember the Clubhouse app?
Yeah.
So I had Clubhouse early on, but I just never used it. And decided that during this time that I would hop on and do some of these things. And we did one, we did two, just for kind of shits and giggles. And then I could tell that like people were coming in. I had like 400, 500 people, and I started asking for advertisers to advertise on there. And we got advertisers. And then this week I got an advertiser to sign a 4-show deal. So 4 days in a row. Like I didn't have to whore myself out to Twitter and try to beg for advertisers. So it was a gambling site. And he did the last 4 shows in a row with us. And they've just been incredible. Like today was pretty big. Today was like 750, 800 people. Yesterday we got over 1,000, which was massive. And I think I'm going to get more as we get kind of closer to signing day. And then I'm going to slow down on them. I've been doing them like every single day, but it's fun to like, we'll be talking about somebody and we can just tag, I'll tell everybody in there to tag that person and let's get them in there and talk. Like yesterday, there was a rumor about Kenny Dillingham maybe taking an Auburn job. So I was like, let's get Kenny in there and blow him up. And Kenny got off the plane and he's like, what is going on with this spaces thing? And I was like, he's like, I don't think I can do this. I was like, no, don't do it. But come on after signing day. So he's going to come on there after signing day and talk about some of the offensive recruits that they signed. I think
that's pretty funny. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Again, just another little part of Twitter that can definitely utilize.
Platform.
Yeah, I want to try it out too. I saw you guys created one today and there's good 500 people listening, but what I thought was cool, at least in the fan engagement type aspect or viewer or podcast viewer engagement aspect for you or for me, just to be able to put a name with a face or a name with a voice at least. And I just think it's a cool opportunity. I logged on there and I saw like 4 or 5 of my friends from high school are listening to you. And I was like, why are they listening to Josh? Like he doesn't have anything good to say.
Yeah, no, man. I've been doing. I go for an hour, and all I really do is take questions. I used to do this thing on Facebook Live in about 2016 when Jimbo was leaving and Willie Taggart was being hired. I started jumping on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Doing the same type of thing, just sitting in front of the camera and just answering questions from the comment section. And some of those videos, because of the timing of it, because of the coaching change, we're getting 60,000 views on them.
That's pretty cool.
And it's just me sitting there talking shit, like just not, just answering questions. No script, no nothing, no substance to it.
Well, if you're doing one tomorrow, I'd be happy to join.
All right. I'm going to a wedding up in Land O'Lakes tomorrow. and I got to leave the house at like 2:30. So I don't know. I might take tomorrow off, but you'll see me on there Sunday through signing day for sure.
I got you. Well, it's a long drive, so if you change your mind, I'm here.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna do this. We got a special show for you guys. Thanks for waiting. Gave us about 5 minutes to get everybody in here. We're gonna have a special guest. We're gonna have 2 special guests. So you'll see who those are.
Yeah, a whole host of them. Give me another 2 minutes here.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it out one more place.
I can give you 2 minutes. Yeah, those Facebook Lives, those were the days. I used to have Karen in there trolling me. Oh, how I miss those days. No, but the spaces is fun, and I definitely enjoy having other people on to come talk. Like we had Kurt Weiler today from the Tallahassee Democrat jumped in. Brendan Sonnone jumped in for a little bit. We've had Miami writers come on through. Like, I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun. And one of the things that's hilarious is I've gained like 1,200 followers in the last week, 1,200, which like, okay, thank you everybody for following me, but like, where the hell you been? I've been covering FSU for 11 years. Who have you been following if it hasn't been me?
Josh Newberg, 28,000 followers. Man, your industry at this point.
No, I'm not. I do not have a blue check mark. I do not, and I do not want a blue check mark.
Hey, we'll work on it.
I don't think I want one. I mean, I get why, like, I get it, but then you're part of blue checkmark gang from then on out.
Yeah, I think that if you have a good ratio, and this is just, I don't have very much social media experience. I usually pass that to my brother or my sisters because they're a little bit more aware than me. But at the end of the day, I think if you have a good ratio, which you have, and you have a good fan base and people respect you and know your name, I think that's fine. However, I do think the up-and-coming student athlete that is attempting to grow fans definitely needs one. Because even for me, like an offensive lineman that no one really cares about, I have like 20 fake pages that are Dillan Gibbons. And they support a couple of them support wildly obscure political views. It's just
or like cryptocurrencies and NFT, like all kinds of weird stuff. That
you never know where people get it from. But I had to change my name a few times, even with a verified account, just because it was too similar. So it's been an interesting process, but at the same time, I think that some people need them. Some people just, get them for fun or just based off clout.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I guess being in the media, like you said, once people kind of know who you are, at least in this FSU market, people do. I don't feel like I need to get a blue check mark. And I feel like there's like, then you're part of that gang. Gang, blue check mark gang. All right. You ready? What are you waiting on?
I'm ready for you at this point.
Okay, I'm good. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Big Man, Big Heart with Dillan Gibbons. I'm your host, Josh Newberg. This is episode 14. We are coming to you on a Friday evening. I know we're a little bit late, but it's okay. Dillan Gibbons is in St. Petersburg, Florida, back at his family's home, and we are live on YouTube right now. If you are watching or if you are listening, you can get us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. The season has come to an end. This is our first off-season show, maybe second. I don't know. It's been a crazy couple of days for me. Thank you guys all for joining us. Dillan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Been an absolutely crazy week for me. It doesn't really feel like the off season, but at the same time, I'm starting to slow down, starting to chill out, starting to prioritize different things in my life. So it's great to be here on the podcast. I can't believe we made it this far, and gotta say thank you to everybody listening and viewing today.
Yeah, well, we started the week of the season, right? Wasn't that our very first podcast, the week of the season? Like, leading up, we didn't give ourselves much of a cushion to get like into this thing. We just jumped right in.
Not at all. That was probably one of the most hectic weeks of my life too, because we were playing Notre Dame. And again, we get back into that game at some point, but starting a podcast was definitely not at the top of my priorities. But we did it. And
I thought that if we didn't start that week, I wasn't sure if we were going to do the pod.
Oh yeah. You had to. You had to get it done. You had to narrow out some time in order to do this kind of deal. And that's what we did. We kind of figured out our schedules and worked around all the different circumstances behind it.
Because we first started talking about the concept of the pod, I remember because I was in upstate New York for 4th of July.
Yep.
So I think I was talking to your dad just before I went up there, and then we kind of like talked about it for a week. And I think sometime in early July, we agreed like, yeah, we're going to do it. But then it was a matter of sitting down to actually do it. And like, we were getting closer to the season, and, you know, your life's hectic, mine's hectic. And so it's awesome that we not only started, but like here we are, and I don't see any reason to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, we've grown a lot since then, from just talking about plans, from the podcast to Big Man Big Heart itself, to the point now where we're 14 episodes behind our belt, and I've raised about $160,000 so far for people who need their Big Man Big Heart. So again, it's been a bumpy road, and it wasn't necessarily the most ideal season in the whole grand scheme of things. But at the end of the day, I'm glad to be here. Glad to have the season underneath our belts, and happy we're moving on.
Yep. And talk about moving on, we're going to get into the off season in a minute. But first, it was an important week for Big Man Big Heart. You guys did one of the biggest in-person fundraisers you've ever done, I would say.
Yes, sir.
You did it in the Tallahassee community. You teamed up with Jordan Travis. Tell the people, well, we've talked about on here. So tell the people what you did and how it all.
Yeah. So it all started about 3 months ago, probably in the middle of the season. Me and Jordan just having a conversation in the locker room. Jordan indicated to me that he wanted to get involved with Big Man Big Heart in some way, shape, form, fashion. And I told him, well, you got to figure out who you want to support. And he told me he wanted to support the kids of Tallahassee, right? So the youth and impoverished youth, whatever you want to call them exactly. So what I did is I contacted the Boys and Girls Club of Tallahassee, figured out their ranks and figured out their availability, and started planning a Christmas event. And initially, I didn't really know what that looked like. So it took everything that I had from me and my team with Big Man Big Heart to come up with the Christmas event. So basically, me and a bunch of my teammates, probably 30, 40 guys, ended up meeting a group of 30 kids from the Boys and Girls Club of Tallahassee at Walmart. We supplied $100 gift cards to each kid. They got to run around the store, get whatever they wanted for Christmas, and check out. After that, we ended up going to a football event, which was basically putting the kids through their paces in our indoor facility, putting them through a bunch of drills, a whole host of fun activities that we had planned for another about hour. And then we took them back to the Boys and Girls Club. And from there, I ended up giving each kid and their families a $100 gift card, another $100 gift card to Walmart. So in total, the kids got about $200 worth of gift cards. Then some additional food gift cards from places in the area, such as Chick-fil-A, of course, Guthrie's, and some other small businesses.
Guthrie's.
So it really took a lot. So from the fundraising side, like the Florida State community absolutely rose to the level that we needed. So again, the whole thing costed around $10,000, and that's what we raised. We raised that in about a week and a half. So I got to say thank you to everybody that supported me so far, whether you're a fan of Florida State or a fan of one of the schools I have ambassadors at here in the state of Florida. I got to say thank you. And the other part of it too is all the people supporting me, whether that be my staff at FSU. We had a number of people turn out, probably about 30 different individuals that work inside operations, athletics, like whether it be sports medicine, training, even nutritionists, all showed up to the event to aid in us at least making impact on these kids' lives. So it was really a group effort. But at the end of the day, a very successful event for Big Man Big Heart, and an event that I hope to scale by 10. So hopefully have 300 kids next year. And I believe that with everything in my heart that we'll be able to support that many kids. And if we have a little bit better planning, a little bit better timing, that we'll have the whole football team at our disposal. So again, great event, a lot of great media coverage, and I'm just so excited to see what we can put together next.
Is this the first event that you've held actually in Tallahassee? Is this the first Big Man Big Heart in the city of Tallahassee? Taking
Timothy to Tally, that was our real first event, but a lot of that was orchestrated before the actual inception of Big Man Big Heart itself.
Right.
This was our first community outreach event. And again, it was a great success. I couldn't have asked for anything more, in planning and organizing this as someone that's in their young 20 or early 20s. I was really prepared for the worst, and to see everything go so smoothly because of those people that were supporting me, whether it was the staff and the management at Walmart, to the people of the Boys and Girls Club that support these kids every day. Just an amazing group of people that all came together in order to support our community and kind of show these kids what it looks like.
How old were they that you guys helped out? Like, what was the average age of the
Pretty
kids
big
that you
age
worked
range, anywhere from 7 basically till like 10 or 11. So it was a pretty good age range. So definitely a point in their lives where they could be influenced.
with?
And for me, I got to show them. So myself, which of course I'm a kind of a character just basically built off what my family's put into me and everything that's been around me, my education at Notre Dame. But I got to also show them all my teammates. So again, just great role models, people to look up to, people that have done it right and been able to make it in their lives and provide themselves with an education and the ability to play football at the highest level.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And this all really started too from you teaming up with GoFundMe from the start, using your NIL powers for good instead of evil. It's more than just scheduling this event is what I'm saying. This goes way back to the start of your NIL deals, and this is kind of like everything coming together for you. And it's awesome to see that you did this on a, like you said, really short timeline for what it was.
Yep. And again, I'm just the kind of guy that doesn't like to stay stagnant. So again, being able to use my name, image, likeness, the platform that I've been gifted, and the media attention that's come from it, for good is an absolute blessing. And I said this in an interview the other day. It was a great season, and we're in the season of giving. But it feels like this whole football season, I've been giving, and it's been a whole season of giving for me. So again, it's a blessing. The smiles on those kids' faces and the reactions from the parents when I handed them another gift card is absolutely priceless. And I hope to be able to share that with more student athletes, because it is easy to talk about it and easy to show the figures and easy to show the GoFundMes that have raised $70, $40, $20,000. But to look someone in the eye and hand them $100 a few weeks before Christmas when they need it, they need it the most, it really means a lot. So I look forward to empowering more student athletes through Big Man, Big Heart, showing them the tools and showing them the ropes and supporting them along the way so they can have more experiences like what I had and be able to give that gift, the gift that helps a lot throughout this season and throughout the next couple of seasons. But again, just an amazing experience, and I can't say enough thanks to everybody that was involved.
Yeah, and thank you to all the Big Man, Big Heart listeners that contributed, whether you guys hit the link off Twitter or wherever you found it. A lot of FSU fans donated, so we appreciate that. Now let's head into the off season. Have you hit day one of your off season strength and conditioning program yet, or are we still in vacation mode?
Kind of a combination, right? So every player is given a packet basically to take home with them, and especially because we don't have a bowl game, we have kind of an extended off season, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been training ever since the last day, ever since we got done with our season, basically training, getting rehab, getting my body right, preparing myself for spring football. So for me, nothing's really dropped off. I've kind of stayed the same course, but the packets that the coaches have supplied for me have definitely helped me along the way. Just knowing what I'm supposed to be doing and doing the right things and not pushing my body to its limits. So again, I've constantly been in a season of training since I entered college football. There really hasn't been a drop off for more than a few days just to kind of catch my breath and rest my bones a little bit. But I look forward to doing a little bit of that here in the next couple of weeks.
What's your weight do? Do you shed down and then put it back on? Do you care about your weight right now? How do you factor that?
So we're getting into the off season. I don't want to carry a lot of weight in the off season. For me, personally, I don't like running around when I'm 330 pounds.
Right.
So during season, I fluctuated my weight from anywhere from 315 to 330, and usually around 320 is where I like to stay. But for right now, I'm at 320 and I'm going down to 315. So that's just my personal goals. That's been developed at my time at Notre Dame and here at Florida State. Just something that I'm personally mindful of, because I don't know, most people won't really feel a difference between running with 5 pounds on them and running with 5 pounds off. But over time, those things add up. And to take the wear and tear off my body, I always try to take a little bit of weight off in the off season and build myself back up as we get closer to season.
All right. And just for those scoring at home, Dillan Gibbons walks around at 315. I walk around at 155.
Still pretty thick though.
Yeah. It's 155 pounds of fury. Don't you worry.
He's bursting through that medium shirt right now.
So, what does a typical off-season workout look like when you're not on campus? Do you have a gym in St. Pete? Do you work out at home? Like, how do you get it in?
Yeah. So unfortunately, when COVID hit, when I was at Notre Dame and in off season, I didn't have any training equipment in my house. I had a Peloton bike and I had an Aerodyne bike, right? So two great apparatuses, but they basically do the same thing. So for me, I had to
get under it and like bench press it or something.
Yeah, no, I was actually doing that. Like, I'm not even joking. Like
shoulder shrugs with it.
I wish I could show you, but outside we have one of those swings, right? It's like an outdoor swing where two people can sit on, kind of like a love seat. I took that thing down and I put bands on it. I do my band workouts on it, and I lift that thing up and down. Like, I was training like crazy, but I was doing mostly body weight and running and pool workouts. But I couldn't tide me over till the time I got back to Notre Dame's campus over COVID break. I ended up buying a whole set of gym equipment from a guy. And that was back when people were price gouging like crazy.
Yeah, especially the weights. Hell yeah.
I ended up spending $1,500 of my own money I saved up to buy a set of gym equipment that's probably worth like $400 or $500 now. So I felt bad about it at the time, but at the same time, I'm going to have that gym equipment outside my house here for the rest of my life. So I've been using that. A lot of the same workouts we do in season that I'm doing right now. Just trying to ramp myself up before we get back to campus. But again, just trying to be as minimal as possible, not stressing out my body too much, not putting myself in any compromising situations or positions, and staying up to date with my rehab and prehab.
How often do you keep in touch with the fellow offensive linemen?
Oh, daily. Snapchat group chats, Instagram DMs, our O-line group chats. The coach has done a good job of staying in contact too, which is surprising just because how much he's been traveling. Yep.
How does he have time to talk to you guys? I know Coach Atkins' schedule because I report on recruiting. So I'm just saying, How does he have time to talk to you guys?
It'll be like a random time during the day. And I'll think I'm getting one of those like those cold calls from somewhere in like Texas or California, just trying to sell me car insurance. But it's really Coach Atkins. And he's just asking how I'm doing, just checking in on me. But he does a good job in managing his time. I'm sure he spends a lot of time in the car, which is some good time to reflect and think about your players and think about what's going to happen next season and the ebb and flow of offensive line play. But Coach Atkins has done a good job. But Coop, our GA, I don't know if you have any interactions with him. But he just checks in on us. Yeah, that's kind of our daily day-to-day manager. If you think about that, then Coach Atkins is a little bit higher level. But at the same time, both doing a good job, very approachable, teaching us throughout the offseason. And I look forward to being able to go back and spend a little bit more time with them.
Yep. And what about the medical staff? Do they keep tabs on you at all, or is that kind of just an on-campus thing?
Yeah, so that's unique. At Notre Dame, like, okay, here's a little sidebar conversation.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Dylan, that collection is impressive. Oh,
hold on, he's telling us a story.
Sorry, you brought me in here and you expect me not to. Okay, all right.
What I was going to say is basically at Notre Dame, I came back during COVID, had to do all my treatment myself. I was coming off of surgery. So I basically put myself through a whole treatment cycle, getting myself ready for camp. And that was a difficult process. Had weekly communication with my trainers. But at FSU, if I am gone for more than 3 days, I'm going to get a FaceTime. They're going to FaceTime me, make sure I'm doing my treatment, make sure I'm looking okay, make sure all the little nicks and bruises and everything I have from the season is okay. So I've already had a FaceTime conversation with Josh Chapman from the training room, and just a great tool that I utilize on a daily basis, just trying to get ahead of the curve on injuries that I'm going to hopefully not have in the future, but it's 100% chance I'm going to be injured. That's a game of football.
Yeah, that is the game of football. We talked during the season about like the fact that, even 4 or 5 games in, nobody's playing at 100% anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, are you at 100% right now, or how long does it take you to get to 100%?
I'm not going to be at 100%. I think anyone's lying to you if they told you they'd be at 100%, but I feel a lot better than I did at any point so far this season. And I don't know. It's a little bit different, right? Even though we have bye weeks don't do much. Even though we're kind of like iPhone batteries. Like even 100% is really 84%. Yeah, I'm like an iPhone 4 battery.
Right.
Barely keeping the charge. I'm kidding. but I'm doing okay. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm walking around good. I'll be going to Disney here in a few days, so I'll definitely get my steps in.
With the fiance or with the family?
With the family. I'm
Okay.
actually going up for the comp convention.
Okay, fun.
Yeah, workers' compensation convention up in Orlando. We go every year.
That should be a bunch of interesting people there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Really select crowd up there.
All right. Well, speaking of interesting people, I got one on the show with us right now.
I got one too.
Yeah, you got one right over there. He's my coworker from Knoll 24/7 Sports beat writer. Brendan Sonnone is with us. Brendan also does a show called Bourbon on a Budget. So, with that being known, we are going to have a new segment on the show called Brothers on a Bourbon Budget. We have Reilly Gibbons with us, and he is sitting next to Dillan for those watching on YouTube. And if you're listening, they're just sitting in the same spot. And then we also have Brendan Sonnone with us. Brendan, what's up?
Hello, thanks for having me. I feel very honored to be on this show. There's been a lot of really important guests doing important things, and somehow I snuck my way in. So thank you, Dillan and Josh, for having me.
It would only be fitting that you are the follow-up to Jordan Travis. He was the last.
Beats still my heart.
Oh yeah, same caliber player. But this is my brother Reilly Gibbons. He played football at Stanford and USF. He kind of had a full circle type life experience so far. He ended up going to Notre Dame with me my freshman year. He went to law school, was there for 3 years while I was up there at Notre Dame playing football. And he moved back down here to St. Pete. He works for Trentham Law Firm, which is in St. Pete and Tampa. Total badass attorney, but also a whiskey aficionado and cigar aficionado. Has quite the collection, a few humidors, and all this wonderful bourbon you see behind me.
All right. So for those that can't see, you're back at home in St. Pete, and you have a huge bourbon collection. I see Brendan, you're eyeing that. You're trying to zoom in.
I am. I see some Pappy there. I see some E.H. Taylor. I see a lot of Weller stuff. That's just without zooming in. I'm tempted to zoom in too. Yeah, it's impressive.
All right. So I don't know much about bourbon. So Brendan, why don't you lead this conversation? See what the boys are drinking over there.
Yeah. What do you guys got in your cup right now? I think that's where we should start.
We haven't poured yet. I figure Dillan's had a heck of a season, and it's been a lot of fun. Had a lot of exciting moments. So you mentioned it first. We ought to start off with a Pappy, right?
Oh my God, are you guys gonna pour Pappy? I'll pour some Pappy. We're gonna do Pappy. I'll pour my Pappy too. Give me a second here. Oh my God.
All right. I love it. So, Reilly, how long have you been stacking bourbon for?
Oof. I would tell you when I started exactly, but I was under the age of 21, so I don't know if that's the best way to go.
I think the statute of limitations is up on that. We're okay.
Absolutely. I started off drinking liquor with whiskeys. My grandpa was a big Scotch guy, and I was always one of the kids who would go and pour it for him. But when I got up into Indiana at Notre Dame, they have state-run liquor stores, which means that the prices are set by the state. So some of these bourbons with super low MSRPs are sold for that price. And you get a really great whiskey for a relatively low amount of money, which I think is what Brendan's podcast is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we're trying to aim for, is determining value and how much you should be spending on a bottle.
Okay, so I don't know much. So what are we drinking right now? I know I've heard you talk about this on the Bench podcast, so I know it's something special, but like, what's the price point of what we're drinking right now?
Oh, well, the price point of what it should be is about, so I got a Pappy 15 here, but any of the what do you guys got?
We're just doing the 10, the Rip Van Winkle.
So they have the 10, they have a 12 lot B1, and then 15, there's a 20 and a 22. Or is it 23? So yeah, and those are, about $100 to $200 MSRP, Josh, which is market suggests a retail price, but like $1,000 probably easily for especially when you get to the 20 or 23 year one. Yeah, it gets pretty pricey. So this is really special, amazing stuff that's in the glass right now.
Absolutely, it gets absolutely outrageous. People going crazy looking for bottles, driving hours and hours across the state to get to one little liquor store. And I'll tell you, we've gone as far as to go into some of these sketchiest liquor stores you've been to just to find that perfect bottle. I usually bring him with me so I feel very safe.
I don't think Dylan
rolls up the sleeves.
You.
Yeah.
it's a little bit tough walking into a liquor store asking for a bottle of blends or Pappy or something like that. Being a normal sized person, but what I will say is that we don't really get a kind of an odd look, right? Really don't have to go in there and make a relationship. We just say hi, stare them in the eyes, and ask for what we want. I'm kidding, but we do make some good personal relationships. And my brother and my dad have really kind of amassed a nice collection, a lot of which is not being shown. Is locked away in the walls of the Gibbons compound here.
Unbelievable. Well, Brendan, what would be a good tip for them if they wanted to, that you guys have been rating these bourbons? What's a good value for them right now if they were to go out to the local store?
Yeah, so something that you can actually go out and find without Dillan having to intimidate anyone, right? That's what we're going for.
Basically.
It's something that's reasonable. I mean, Dylan's still in college, so we don't want to break the bank. Dylan, have you tried Old Forester's 1920 Prohibition style? Okay.
Nope.
Reilly. All right. So it's a $60 bottle. So it's not cheap, but it's not going to break the bank. It's like a nice special occasion one. It's 115 proof.
Hot.
Yeah. So it's a little hot, but it drinks pretty like sweet and smooth for the proof. And if you want to throw ice or water in there, it's really, really good. And you can find it just about anywhere. And it's, in my opinion, probably one of the best price bourbons. And then if you want to spend a little bit less on it, I'd stick in the Old Forester range because Old Forester's awesome at price range. Old Forester's 100 bourbon. It's a 100 proof bourbon, so a little less proof. It's only about $20 to $25. You can find that anywhere. Awesome as well. So yeah, Old Forester is my go-to.
And now that go ahead.
I was going to ask, so Reilly explained a little bit of his bourbon experience up in Indiana, and you got MGP up there, which produces like the highest amount of bourbon distillate like of anywhere in the country. But how did both you guys get into like loving and collecting bourbon? And Dylan, do you collect it as much as the rest of the fam?
Not as much. I'm not as active. A little bit tough to be on top of all that stuff on balancing football, the NBA program, and the nonprofit. But at the end of the day, it's something I enjoy with my family, right? I haven't had a bad time drinking whiskey, bourbon, scotch even, with my dad and my brother. And my sisters partake too, which is the coolest part. So it's kind of a whole family experience. We break open a bottle of really nice bourbon that we bought for a reasonable price. And at the end of the day, it's just one of those experiences I wouldn't give up for the world.
Josh, what can we do to tempt you to drink some bourbon? If you come up here, and I'll share some Pappy with you.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot left, so hurry. This goes quickly.
I don't really like bourbon that much. I don't really drink a whole lot these days just for health reasons. But when I did, I was more like I drank like vodka. And here's a good story. So I went to Florida State, as you guys know, and I was there for 5 years. I was a redshirt senior and never played any sports, but I was just there for 5 years. And mainly because I lived in Indian Village the entire time. Indian Village is located directly across the street from the stadium, and it used to be an insane place before games. Still is, but not to the extent that it was when I was there in the early 2000s. And we'd have all these people at our house for the game days. And, we'd have a keg at the front door. We'd have thousands of people outside. Inevitably, people make it into your home. And when everybody's drunk, they're rummaging through looking for your liquor so that you can make a drink before the game starts. So about 2 years in, I found something out. I found out that if I drank gin, I didn't have to hide my gin anymore. Like, I could put my gin right in the freezer because nobody likes gin. And I had to basically, it was an acquired taste. I didn't drink it because I loved it. I just drank it because it was the one thing I knew I could buy a handle of on game day and damn near leave out on my kitchen counter and nobody would touch. But I ended up liking gin.
That should be their marketing slogan. The liquor that no one else wants to drink.
The liquor you can leave in your freezer on game day.
That's fair. Hey, they're trying to make gin classy these days. There's all these cool prohibition style gin bars, and over in Tampa, there's at least one.
Yeah, there's
it's not a bad place to start. Yeah, gin joint. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's funny how sometimes you get into things. And at first it was like, I was just drinking Seagrams, and then it was Tanqueray, and then, it goes up. So that's probably how it goes with bourbon too, right?
Yeah. You start off with.
What did you start on, Brendan?
SoCo. Definitely SoCo. SoCo and Sprite is what I started with. It get really, really sweet. And then Jack Daniels, and then like a nicer version of Jack Daniels, like that I was able to have with just like ice without mixing it.
Mhm.
And then I went to Gentleman Jack, which is like a lower proof but like super mellowed out version of Jack Daniels, and I did that without ice. The next was Four Roses single barrel. Then after that, we had, this is only like a third of maybe like a quarter of my collection behind me there. So yeah, now I got a problem collecting whiskey. And
It's all downhill from there.
yeah, once you're into it and you can start detecting different flavors and and like you guys said, like the Gibbons family, like you enjoy it, sharing it with people. Like this bottle of Pappy, I got it while doing the episode of On the Bench with Josh and Chris. Like the ABC Vault program released it, and I had to pause the recording to go get this. But the only time I ever had a pour of this by myself was when I first got it, and I wanted to try it because my buddy was like, "Hey, you could die tomorrow and not try it." Other than that, I've had it with company. I have when friends come over with you guys right now. Like I don't drink this one alone. I like to share it when I can. It's such an exquisite bottle, and I'm only going to end up drinking half of it myself over a period of time. But there's stories and sentiment and stuff behind the bourbon, which is to me cool. And it sounds like you guys kind of have a similar experience with that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Awesome.
do you think the viewers would enjoy us auctioning off a bottle of Pappy 10?
Raffling.
Yes. So we need to figure out a way to make that work, right? For all the good things you guys are doing. So yeah, I think that would be a splendid idea.
Yeah, somewhere around the first of the year.
Yeah, we talked. Dylan and I talked about it a little bit. We got to figure out a way to make it work. We have so many platforms too. We have Big Man, Big Heart. We have On the Bench. We have Bourbon on a Budget. Josh has Spaces. So Spaces. My Spaces debut today. So we'll figure out the best way to optimize it and to make it work for you guys. But I think that's an awesome idea. And people listening to this, if you know what Pappy is, like people are going to line up for that, I think.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome.
We'll talk about it on the bench because Brendan has a fan group that is into the bourbon, and I think if we can get those people involved, we can get a lot of people involved. We can raise some money with this. So I'm excited for that. This is our first crossover episode with another podcast, so this is exciting. Maybe we can get the Bourbon brothers on Bourbon on a Budget.
There we go. Yeah, big Bourbon, Big Heart, or Big Man, Big Bourbon.
Big Man on a Bourbon Budget.
A lot of bees going on. Yep.
Yeah, maybe bees.
Shameless alliteration.
A lot of bees. All right. Dylan, anything you want to say before we get out of here? This was a fun show.
I really appreciate everyone being here today, and for everyone that supported Big Man, Big Heart so far. And again, it's been a crazy ride, a great year, and I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, a great Christmas. And at the end of the day, I look forward to the future of Big Man, Big Heart.
Yes, and we are going to take a break over the holidays. Dylan and I talked about maybe taking a week or two off, so we will be back in early January. But if there's anything that you need to hear from us, you can watch these shows on YouTube. You can listen to them on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you guys for listening to the first season of Big Man, Big Heart. We're not going anywhere. We'll be around. Love you.
Cheers.